Hello, everybody, and welcome into this latest edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beat reporter for Michigan State Spartans on SI, Aidan Champion. Want to get into hoops talk again today, and I want to talk about some concerns. And obviously, I think most fans know what they are, but just going to kind of break them down because there are a lot of questions surrounding this team. And coming off a Big Ten title, Elite Eight run. Now you lose your three leading scorers from last season, including Jace Richardson. You recently lost Caleb Glenn to a severe injury, torn patellar tendon, and you're gonna have to move on without him this season after he was expected to fill a uh, major void for this team. But um, let's get into it. I think the biggest area of concern is 3-point shooting, regardless of how good you are next season, because Michigan State obviously was pretty darn good last year. You gotta to make it to reach the ultimate destination, you got to be a good 3-point shooting team, and Michigan State just wasn't last year. Shot 31.1% from beyond the arc. And while that started to improve later in the season, it did catch up to them and was a major reason that they lost to Auburn. Uh, 3-point shooting was just never something that became very efficient uh, or consistent for Michigan State. And while they had shooters, just for whatever reason, this team was not very efficient from deep. And you haven't really um, I don't want to say you haven't adjusted because they did adjust it with Caleb Glenn, but obviously you won't have that now. And really, I think your best shooter will probably be Trey Fort. Um, he shot nearly 38% from beyond the arc last year. Really good shooter, but other than that, I mean, there's not many proven efficient shooters on this team. Um, that's definitely a major concern for Michigan State because, like I said, in order to be the last team standing at the end of the season, you have to be a good 3-point shooting team. Um, I don't think there was a scenario where Michigan State could have won it all last season without being able to shoot efficiently from deep. Um, but you again, I mean, you've got some good shooters. Jackson Kohler got a lot better from deep last season, and I expect him to be more consistent next season. But um, and same thing with Jeremy Fears. It's just you might be an even worse 3-point shooting team. So definitely something that Michigan State's going to have to work on. The good thing is shooting. That's something you can always improve on. More often than not, you're not going to be a great 3-point shooting team early on in the year. That's something that you see progress throughout the season. Um, so I guess Michigan State can only hope that if that is the case, they do get better in that department as the year goes on. Um, but like I said, something you can improve on, uh, you can fix. It's not necessarily something that has to plague you from the get-go all the way through. Next thing, before Caleb Glenn's injury, I was saying this team was going to be deep again. Now, not so much. And I know it's just one guy, but you think about what he could have played, been a three and a four. Now, you look at, assuming Cohen Carr starts at the three, you look at who's behind him. Really, it's, I mean, right now, Cam Ward has been backing up uh, Jackson Kohler at the four. So really, I'm thinking Jordan Scott, and I don't necessarily know if he's ready for that. Um, you may have options, but not ideal options. Kurt Tang, I do believe he's ready for the moment to take on a bigger role, but still doesn't come off a year where he had gained a lot of experience, was averaging just over 3 minutes a game in 19 contests. I mean, that's not going to do it. And that's not necessarily someone you want to have to rely on. But he is a great shooter. And if all you're going to ask him to do is stand outside and wait for the knockdown shots, maybe maybe you can get by with that with him. Um, Divine Ugochukwu, I really like him a lot. Again, though, a guy who not as much experience there. Just is only going to be a sophomore and not a great shooter. I do love his aggressiveness and his ability to attack the paint and draw fouls, finish through contact. I like his passing ability and his defense. But as far as someone you're expecting to take on significant minutes as the backup point guard, um, again, maybe not ideal. But Jeremy Fears, I mean, he's not a great three-point shooter either. And he does his role perfectly for Michigan State. So if that's all you need is a floor general, um, then you might be all right. But depth, you've got experienced guys that who I'm expecting to start, but then behind them, not a whole lot of experience. You look at Jesse McCulloch as well, who's likely going to back up Carson Cooper. And then, like I said, Cam Ward backing up um, Jackson. That second line is not a lot of experience. So I see that as a concern. Not that I don't think any of those guys are ready, just you would like more experience uh, on the roster and behind your starting lineup. Last thing, and this one after what we saw last year might not be that great a concern, is the lack of a go-to score. Um, when you look at the guys coming back, none of them were very consistent scorers last year. Um, but what I do look at is Jackson Kohler had a great uh, game against Auburn and they'll lead a huge stage, um, double double. And look at Cohen Carr, who stepped up big time when he had to start in the tournament. So when these guys are called upon, they are ready and they can uh, be really solid scores for you. And with them all now coming off that season where they were crucial components of that tournament run and Big Ten title run, that that certainly helps. And they're all working hard this offseason. So um, again, that might not be as big of a concern for this team. And especially considering last year you didn't really have that either, except Jace Richardson kind of became that guy later in the year, but did well through most of the year without a go-to scorer. For a while, it was Jaden Akins, but he wasn't the most consistent, and he wasn't, uh, consistently putting up 15 points a game. It was strength in numbers. So that's something I think this team will lean on again next season is its collective scoring. But again, uh, the depth is a concern, and I don't know uh, how successful you'll be in the scoring department when you don't have an ideal rotation. Um, but these are all July concerns, a lot to be seen still, and there are a lot of good things that fans should be hopeful about with next year's team. I don't think any of these concerns are, um, end of the world things. They're simply just concerns that this team definitely could prove you wrong about. So, um, it all remains to be seen, and it's just off-season talk. So don't think too hard about it. Uh, as always, thank you everybody for tuning in. Hope you're all having a great holiday and have a great weekend ahead of you. Thank you.